Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Everyone's talking about the aliens coming from the ocean, and there's a theory that I don't think anyone's really talking about, and a big piece of history that is kind of missing from the conversation. If these aliens are coming from the ocean, and now the government's saying that their technology is far superior than ours, has anyone asked the question about Atlantis? The lost continent whose technology was supposed to be super superior, and theorized that it's the destruction of their continent. What if the aliens are just the lost Atlanteans and they found a way to have their continent underwater? Thoughts?
Okay, that is a really good theory. A little bit of going on here.
On the internet, what's a scam that's become so normalized we don't even realize it's a scam anymore? I got a few. First of all, why is dental and vision not a part of healthcare? My teeth and my eyes are inside of my body. Why do you separate them for insurance purposes? I don't have finger insurance. Why my eyes can't go with my health? Why my teeth can't go with my health? My teeth are connected to my overall health. If I have poor dental health, chances are I'm going to have poor other health. You know, it can lead to cardiovascular health. If I can't see good, that's part of my health. Why are you making me pay separately for all three? Two, hotels. If I pay a night for a hotel, I can't check in until 3 or 4 and I got to check out by 11. I don't even get 24 hours. I mean, technically all I asked for was a night, but dog, I can't get some day. I can't get some of the day, just a little bit of the day. I can't get 11 to 3. I can't get none of that part of the day. Okay, and then insurance. I pay for my car insurance every month for years and years and years and years. Don't get in no accidents. And when all that add up, I still got to pay a deductible. Can't you use some of my overpay from the last years? Y'all can't put some of my insurance towards the deductible. I can see if it was my first, second month. You ain't even built up enough for a deductible. If I'm paying $372 for a month for years, why my deductible $500? Take some of that $372 I done gave you. Take a up $372 from July 2015 in August and put that towards it. No, y'all want to keep it for yourself and make Aflac commercials. I don't even have Aflac. And I do like the commercials, but that's beside the point.
Those are some very good points. Why aren't dental and vision included in your health insurance? It's stupid. You know it's about the money. Hey, you know what's not a scam and it won't cost you a single penny? Hitting that like button for me. And if you like this kind of content, won't you consider subscribing? And then come on back, because I'm making a new episode every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Because I don't know how many people are aware of this. I've seen videos, but decided to make my own. Because I want you to see it for yourself. You see that? I'm going to put in one finger. Trisodium phosphate. I'm going to go to Home Depot now. And we're going to see what that crap. Here we are. This is it, guys. Trisodium phosphate. They even have the phosphate-free version because it must be so toxic. Clean with it. These are floor cleaners.
And people give that to their kids. Like I gave that to my kids. That's gross.
Everyday phrases that make absolutely no sense. During the 18th and 19th centuries, hat makers used mercury in the felt making process. Prolonged exposure to mercury caused tremors, personality changes, and erratic behavior, so they were mad as a hatter. In earlier centuries, it was the apprentice's job to hold a candle, while a master craftsman worked in dimly lit environments. If the apprentice wasn't even skilled enough for that, they were seen as inferior, so they couldn't hold a candle to someone else. The Old English word scot meant tax. If someone managed to avoid paying taxes or punishment, they were said to go scot-free. In early 20th century carnivals, cigars were often given as prizes for games. When someone came close to winning but fell short, they were told, close, but no cigar.
You learn something new every day. I didn't know that that's where those phrases originated.
Do you recall a shooting incident that occurred during a volleyball game in 2006? If so, you're not alone. Many people online recall a gruesome shooting during a high school girls' volleyball game in 2006. However, it never happened. There are no news articles or any evidence pointing to a shooting related to a volleyball event during that year. People remember disturbing crime scene photos surfacing on the internet, showing the gym with the volleyball net still up. The incident is often compared to the infamous Columbine High School massacre, with multiple casualties and a significant impact on the community. There are no obituaries or memorials for the supposed victims. No police reports, school records, or official documents corroborate the existence of this shooting. While no one knows why so many people have this false memory, it's possible that the myth originated from confusion with another tragic event, or a combination of different incidents. The supposed crime scene photos might have been fabricated or misattributed.
I personally have no memory of this particular event, and I think it's interesting because when I went and looked it up, there's a lot of people that are totally remember that, but apparently it never occurred unless it's just been scrubbed for one reason or another.
What we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
How are you going to solve homelessness? What are you going to do as a new mayor? And I say, well, what are you going to do?
Focus on a housing first model, direct access to housing.
Shelter solve sleep, housing with wraparound and support services solve homelessness. Homelessness absolutely can be solved.
Laid out a detailed homeless strategy. There's been no intentionality on homelessness in the state for decades. It's not been a focus.
I don't think we can solve homelessness. I know we can solve homelessness. We will reduce street homelessness quickly and humanely through emergency action.
The highest investment the state's ever made is $1 billion on homelessness. We are poised to pass a budget in the next few hours that will provide $12 billion of investment. I can literally quantify 58,000 people that we got off the streets last year, and none of you would believe it.
The state has not made progress in the last 2 decades as it relates to homelessness. Why?
We're not interested in funding failure. We're not interested in failing more efficiently when it comes to the issue of homelessness and the crisis on the street.
So much money has gone to this guy to do something about the homeless situation, and it's gotten worse. California is an absolute disaster. And rumor has it that he's going to make a bid for the 2028 presidential election. And if California is any indication of how this man would run a country, I don't think he's going to make it.
McDonald's is leaving San Francisco after 30 plus years. The franchisee at the Stonestown Galleria location sadly said rent inflation and rising minimum wages are what's preventing them from staying open. McDonald's had some crazy price increases over the past few years. You would think $4 McChickens would be able to keep the lights on. These things used to be $1. This is a Fortune 100 company with over 40,000 locations backing the lease here. If they can't stay in San Francisco, who else can? What's the problem here? Is it San Francisco's bad rep, the economy and inflation, or something else? Drop your comment.
I remember when San Francisco was a beautiful city. It was a tourist attraction. I'd been there several times, and now shops are closing, the streets are overrun with homeless and addicts, and nothing's being done about it. So it doesn't surprise me that McDonald's wants to leave.
Inflation is down. Why do I still feel broke? I'm going to explain this very quickly. From the year 2000 to 2020, in that 20-year span, the average increase in inflation every year was about 2.1%. Rent was going up about 3%, housing was going up about 5%, and wages were going up around 2.5%. Everything was kind of even in the world. That's why there was no whiny millennials, because we could rent, buy food, and even buy a house on a $45,000 to $50,000 salary. But what happened? The pandemic happened. And from the year 21 to 23, the total inflation went up 19%, rent went up 30%, the cost of buying a house went up 40%, and wages only went up 16.8%. Now, there is a group of the middle class still surviving this. Those who bought a house before 2020. So when the housing went up 40%, their net worth went up 40%, and they don't give a shit about the 30% increase in rent because they're not renting. But the 100 million to 150 million Americans renting got smashed with a 20% increase in housing. So even though inflation is back down to 2.5%, rent's going up at 3%, housing's going up at 4%, and wages are going up at around 4% right now, it doesn't make up for the massive 20 to 30% hit, pay cut, if you will, that the millennials and Gen Zs who are renting took or who are trying to buy a house.
Yeah, it's terrible. In 2015, we rented a house in this same city, which is like one of the best cities in the area. And it was $1,400 a month less than this house and 1,000 square feet bigger. There is a house just on the other street that is $800 a month more than this house and 300 square feet smaller. So it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too. Yeah. I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here. Okay? So I'm a working person.
Working person? This is the most out of touch thing I've ever heard a celebrity say. We got to run some numbers and put this into perspective. The median household income in America is $80,000. And after taxes, it's about $66,000. And this is before 401k contributions and health insurance. You have been famous for 40 years and have a net worth of $60 million. And on top of that, you make $8 million a year. And even though you're paying an insane amount of taxes, you're still taking home $3.8 million a year. That is $73,000 a week take home pay. You, Whoopi Goldberg, by yourself, make more money per week than the average American family makes a year. And you're going to sit here and say that you relate to the struggle of the American people? Do you realize that people have not recovered financially since the pandemic?
As the working class, I find that to be a serious kick in the pants. Did you hear what happened over the weekend? She apparently talked some crap about a bakery and said that they wouldn't serve her because she's a Democrat. And the bakery comes out and they're like, no, that's not what happened. Our boiler was down. And now she's in some serious hot water.
I don't know how I'm just now finding this out, but this has been our health minister for the past 4 years. And this is our up-and-coming health minister for 2025. The majority already know what I'm talking about, but for some of you that just don't get it, one of them is obese and one of them is jacked and handsome. You see, these people are in charge of protecting and promoting our health in the US. They monitor what's in our food, our water, and other products. Me personally, I don't think I should be taking health advice from someone who can't take it themselves. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset about me saying this. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Shut up, sausage. Go outside. All I'm saying is that it's going to be really cool to see what happens over the next few years when we have someone in charge of health that actually takes care of themselves.
I'm Admiral Rachel Levine, the Assistant Secretary for Health. I stand with the LGBTQI plus community as a proud, openly transgender woman.
Well, that is quite a transition. And I don't mean for the current health minister. I mean from that to RFK Jr. I had no idea how freaking jacked he was. And I'm looking forward to the change.
I don't know why anyone is tripping about people getting a blue heart tattoo on their face. Like, it doesn't bother me one bit. Because anybody who has a work ethic knows that a face tattoo is potentially compromising in the professional world. And the ones who are getting this tattoo on their face, they're not a part of the working class. So, more job security for us.
I have no idea what this blue heart tattoo thing means. I can only assume that it has something to do with another left-wing movement, so burn.
Why, when I was working for Coke, did the American Diabetes Association accept money from Coke? These medical groups are actually accepting money from processed food companies. Every hospital in America you walk into has a soda machine. There's actually sponsorships and connections between hospitals and medical groups and foods. The American Diabetes Association, when diabetes has gone up 8 times in a generation, isn't saying we should stop drinking liquid sugar, diabetes water. They're actually taking money from Coke and recommending small cans of Coke as a good move for diabetics. This is the problem, that we are getting sick for simple reasons. And we have a medical system that is not only silent, it's actually encouraging us not to really realize the centrality of our poison food system to why we're getting sick. Wow. Because every single institution that touches our health, they make money when we're sicker for longer periods of time, and they lose money when we're healthy.
The standard American diet and the FDA have been a huge sticking point for me, especially since I've started this channel, because I have learned so much about the disgusting things that our government is allowing to go into our bodies. And like I said earlier, I am looking forward to this change that RFK is going to bring about, and I hope it's substantial.
Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders actually agree on this one topic, and it's that we need to lower credit card interest rates. The crazy thing is, Bernie Sanders said to lower them down to 15%, and Trump said 10%. Let's take a listen.
And while working Americans catch up, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. We have no choice. They're getting 22, 25%.
No bank in this country should have credit card interest rates of over 15%. So we're bringing back the concept of usury laws, where people cannot where banks cannot try to get blood out of a stone.
And some people say Trump's just trying to make the rich richer. Man, he's more progressive on this topic than Bernie Sanders is. That's crazy.
And now it looks like Bernie's joining ranks with Trump. He has a lot of excellent points that I absolutely agree with, and to see them work together would be fantastic.
We know for certain that Apophis on Friday the 13th, April 2029, it'll get close enough to Earth that it will dip below Earth's communication satellites. It'll be the biggest, closest thing ever to come known to come near Earth. The communication satellites are at geosynchronous orbit. It's about 23,000 miles up. This will come in at 18,000 miles. There is an interval range where if it threads that keyhole, we call it a keyhole. It's a 600 mile, about 600 mile, several hundred mile range. If its orbit goes through that range, Earth's gravity will be just right, or rather, just wrong, so that it will alter its orbit so that it will hit us 7 years later.
So here's where my conspiracy brain is on this. We have Apophis coming in about 4 years, right? We're having meetings now about us having alien tech, potentially, right? So what if we have the means to change the trajectory of Apophis to make it not hit the Earth? They can't just be all like pew pew and then it's gone and we're like, what the heck just happened? No, they're letting us know, hey, we have this technology, so that way when it does come and they pew pew it out of the sky, we're not terribly surprised because we knew that we had that technology. It's just a theory.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
He's making sure that all the money he can get rid of between now and then is gone, so that way it leaves a bigger deficit when Trump comes into office. What a wonderful plan.
NBC News has confirmed President Biden will now allow Ukraine to strike inside Russia with long-range missiles. This marks a significant policy shift, and it comes after Biden officials condemned the North Korean deployment of troops to Russia as a possible expansion of the war.
So not only will all of our monies be going to Ukraine, also the Ukraine was given permission just yesterday to use our missiles in Russia. That sounds like an escalation. It's just a matter of time. And January can't get here fast enough.
I think that the reason we are as involved in Ukraine as we are is because Afghanistan wound down. And if we still had Afghanistan to launder money through, there probably wouldn't be the need for this type of excessive involvement in Ukraine. But I think we can look at Afghanistan and we can look at what's going on here and say what a lot of these defense contractors are pushing toward is how to have an extended kind of low yield war. Like if there's a way to stretch this thing out, turn it into a 20, 30 year kind of thing where there's a whole lot of money moving around and unaccountable pots and a lot of weapons getting bought. And then, oh man, the stockpiles, well, we got to spend more money to reload those.
I've heard this money laundering theory multiple times. In fact, Sam Fisher did an episode on it recently, and it has never become more clear. Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
I didn't quit eating chicken because I didn't like it. But check this out. If you burned yourself and it blistered, what's in the blister? And they would say, pus or body fluids. And I'd say, okay. So you take that piece of chicken, you stick it in the oven, you pull it out and you open it up. What is that stuff oozing out of that chicken? And they'd go, ugh. They've taught you that stuff easing out of that chicken is juice. It's body fluids. You've subjected it to high temperatures. You've cooked it, and now that stuff is oozing out. But you would never prick that burn. You would never think about pricking that burn and sucking those juices.
No, you wouldn't.
I would do that. People come in and
How'd that speech go over with people, though?
They tell me that story. A lot of them have transitions because of that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we think enough about what we're eating, what we're really eating, what we're really ingesting. We don't give enough thought to it.
I don't think I'll ever look at chicken the same. I mean, I'm still going to eat it because it's delicious, and I know that the factories also pump it full of saline anyway, so it's probably a lot of that as well. But I mean, when you're eating a nice juicy steak, who cares? It's delicious. It's delicious.
We wait for you to get sick, and you do. Then, once you are sick, we don't restore your health. The doctor gives us a toxic pill which makes us sicker and keeps us sick. We merely manage your symptoms. So we can manage your high blood pressure, we can manage your cholesterol, we can manage your pain, your arthritis pain, we can manage your diabetes. We don't cure you. The current healthcare system is a hoax. It is not a healthcare system, it is a disease management system. We need to have a revolution in healthcare.
We've needed to have a revolution in healthcare since the last revolution in healthcare in the 70s when they told us to stop eating fat and cholesterol. And those things are so vital for your body and your brain. And they just were like, no, we're making too much money this way. It needs to change.
If you had a heart attack today or had stroke level high blood pressure and you called an ambulance, do you know what the first thing they're going to inject inside of you when you get in the ambulance and they take you to the hospital? Without ever talking to a doctor, they're going to inject you with saline. You know what saline is? 9,000 milligrams of salt in that bag of water. And if you have extremely high blood pressure at stroke level, you know they do 2 of those bags in what they call a push. They will push 18,000 milligrams of salt inside your body. And guess what happens? Your blood pressure starts coming down. Your kidneys are what release water out of the body. The kidneys operate with what are called sodium potassium pumps. What's another word for sodium? Salt. All right, so you have salt potassium pumps that are required in your kidneys to pump out water. What happens is when we start depriving ourselves of salt because the world tells us to eat less salt and our doctors all tell us to eat less salt, need a low sodium diet, our kidneys don't get the salt they need, and we will start retaining water. And as we retain water, there's now increased pressure on our blood vessels. And guess what the majority of Americans are put on? Diuretics like Lasix to make you pee. Do you know what Lasix is? It's patented salt. This is your diuretics. So they want you to swallow their prescription salt in a tablet form. They don't want you eating it in your food. It's one of the greatest lies in medicine.
It certainly is a vicious cycle, isn't it? It's no wonder that salt is a very abundant mineral in our planet and our bodies need it. Yet the doctors tell us, oh, don't eat too much salt, watch your salt. But then they give you a pill that is salt. Mainly because you'll be paying for it. And a lot more than just table salt.
Inhaler.
$100.
Yeah, you're pretty close. It's a bit more.
120.
250 to 350.
For an inhaler?
Yes.
Man, so if you're poor, you're
2 EpiPens. Okay. How much do you reckon they are?
$80.
600.
$40.
I'm afraid not.
More?
More?
$100.
More.
150.
More.
250.
More.
Shut the fridge.
More.
£300. $600. What? Why?
That's a very good question.
$600.
Yeah.
And that's on top of the $300 per person per month that we're spending for health insurance. Not to mention the $25 copay to go see the doctor. But it doesn't stop there. Once you see your doctor, you got to get a referral to a specialist. You pay for that specialist and hope that they're within your network. Otherwise, you're going to get a surprise bill later on. And then you have to pay for a bunch of testing to see if you qualify for this particular prescription. And then 3 months later, you get to pay for the prescription.
There's a law in physics that basically says that when you have energy that is vibrating at a particular frequency, within 17 seconds, other energy like that will be attracted to it. So if I'm having a positive thought or a negative thought, then what happens is that energy is attracted to it. I have other thoughts that are like that thought. So if you do that 17 seconds, for 68 seconds, then momentum begins to occur. Let's say that I'm normally, all of our emotions have a frequency to it. So if I'm in despair or anger or worry, all of those are lower, denser frequencies. You get into things like contentment, happiness, joy, love. Those are higher, faster frequencies. So let's say that I normally live in contentment, and that's my set point because that's where I live. I think about that all the time. That's what my makeup is, that sort of thing. So I'm driving down the highway. all of a sudden a car cuts me off and I get angry. So now I'm in the lower, denser frequencies. And so then I go back to the office and I'm telling all my colleagues, here's what happened, this knucklehead cut me off. Go home, tell my wife that. What am I doing? I'm vibrating angry energy. So I go to the supermarket and there is somebody in line. I have 3 items and I'm getting in line and somebody ahead of me has 38 items. And the guy that's running the cash register, it's his first day and he's not doing very well. He's very slow. Is that a coincidence? No, it's something for me to get angry about. So I'm attracting into my world whatever it is that I'm vibrating.
So let's end this episode with a little bit of positive vibration. Whenever you're feeling anxious or angry or even sad, just take a minute. That's all it takes. Focus on your breathing and smile. Think happy thoughts, right? Whatever you put out is what you're going to get in. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things. It's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.